Hi everyone, it's Roger here from What's On DisneyPlus.com, and it's time for our weekly live Q&A. So that start couldn't have gone any more wrong, so I'm going to have to do a bit of editing to get that one out. So every single week we do a live Q&A here live on YouTube. As you can tell, it is live, and these mistakes do get made, and that's why I always love it when people could quickly tell us that was good. Thank you very much, Knoxwave and Caleb. So you can hear me. So it's been a very busy week for news this week with the quarterly financial results, the actors strike coming to an end. Overall, very, very good. So this will be our live chat. So if you are a YouTube channel member, you can join in with the live chat right now. We've also got our questions from our YouTube channel members and our patrons. Now, we do have a lot of them today, so I'm going to try and go for them as fast as I can. I'll be jumping in and out between the live questions and the pre-done ones. I suspect it might be a little bit of a longer Q&A today because of that reason. You can also send in your super chats as well, and that will help support the channel. You can also become a member and join in, and as I said, you can join in every single week. So there's been a lot of questions about Hulu this week. So the big kind of confirmation, I'll just kind of go over the gist of it to begin with, is on Wednesday, Disney confirmed that Hulu content will be starting to be added into Disney Plus in the United States in December. So this is going to be essentially called Hulu on Disney Plus. That's what Bob referred to it on. A little bit like FX on Hulu. It's going to be a single one-app experience, but it's going to be a beta launch in the fact that all the features are not going to be available until March. Unfortunately, the wording that Disney has used has been horrendous and has caused so much confusion and so much some clickbait articles. I've seen people like writing articles about that Disney Plus is closing down and being replaced with another app. No, Disney Plus is staying as it is. They're just adding in the Hulu content. If you're a Hulu subscriber, you're going to be able to get access to it. It's as simple as that. There is no this new one app, and there's going to be another app on top of. It's like, I really hope that Disney get on top of this this week and get the correct terminology, maybe a video to get an idea of what it looks like. They need to jump on this as fast as possible because there's been so much miscommunication and misdirection because people are not understanding what's going on. And also, I think the term like a beta, whichever way you want to pronounce it. People are asking, how do you sign up for it? How do you get onto it? Is it? And it's like, oh, they've so muddied the waters with kind of, in some ways, being, they've said it's a beta version because it's not ready yet, and so they're going to launch a much simpler version. So it's a very, very awkward situation, obviously, with Comcast buying out or being brought out at the beginning of December. On December the 1st, they'll be sent a check of like $8 billion, and then they're going to work out what the true value is, and then they'll work out the money later on. But Disney will get control of it on the 1st while they work it all out. So yes, it was a very messy sort of launch. So let's jump in. I even put the question as today is, are you confused by the word of a beta? And yeah, 70% of you are, and I'm not surprised, because even myself, I'm a little bit confused. The trouble is, he's talking to the investors, but that information sometimes doesn't get out properly to the people. I am hoping that this week they put out some better clarification of what it is. Remember when they launched FX on Hulu? Well, that's basically kind of what Disney Plus is going to have. If you're a Hulu subscriber or part of the Disney bundle or streaming, if you got the triple deal or whatever it is, you'll be able to get access to it. If you don't have the Hulu option, it'll ask you to, do you want to upgrade? And it'd be like $2 more to add the ad version of Hulu onto your account if you're a Disney Plus subscriber. It's not as complicated as it's just this whole thing of it being a one-app experience. So yeah, it's a very, very weird little way of doing it. So Katie says, I'm confused by the launch of beta. I even asked where I can sign up to test and got no response, because I don't think they really, the people at the help desk are probably like, what? There is no, there's that kind of thing of, I think I think they've just very badly worded it, and I think that's kind of the thing for that one. Just have a look here. One thing Joe mentioned on Twitter was that the Hulu app will still be a standalone, and the live TV aspect will be in that app instead of integrated. Yeah, so Hulu will still exist as its own separate app. Disney Plus will still exist as its own separate app, because if you don't have the Hulu content in there, or don't pay for it, you're not going to see any difference or anything like that. Hulu will still be around for a while. They might eventually get rid of it. They might eventually merge it in. I think it depends what they end up doing with the live TV thing. But yes, they think they really need to get the word out a little bit better this coming week, to kind of clarify what's going on a little bit better with people. Matt had a fantastic time in Walt Disney World. I am not jealous in the slightest. Khaled went to see the Marvels yesterday. It was fun. A shame casuals don't want to give the film a chance since the MCU isn't hip anymore. One thing that's alarming is hardcore fans are very small. I went to see the Marvels on Friday. I really enjoyed it. It was exactly what I was expecting. I liked it. I thought it was good. There is definitely blood in the water in terms of coverage for Marvel and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. People are interested in the downfall of the MCU. There's a kind of a morbid curiosity, and that gets more clicks. And in today's market, that's what counts. I do think people have grown tired of the MCU. I think people got tired of superheroes. I think it's been done to death. And I was chatting in on Twitter with some friends earlier today, and I literally feel like it's not just Marvel. DC, Netflix, Amazon, CW, they've all been just Sony. They've all been just riding the superhero stuff, the genre. They've been driving it into the ground all across all of them. Marvel's just as bad as all of them. DC broke first, and the CW, that all fell to pieces. Even Gen V is not hitting the heights that the boys did. I think we are just seeing that the genre of superheroes has become it's been around for too long. It's been around, in the way of it being peak cinema, the top brand. It was never going to be able to stay like this forever, but I think there was this kind of expectation that it could do. And I think, there is multiple problems in general with regards to why this has happened. There is not one single problem. There's not a single one reason I don't think for it. It is a shame with the Marvels that it's getting, because there's so many other issues going on with the Marvels that is not just because people are bored of the MCU. People don't like Brie Larson. People don't like women being in it. They don't like different colors. It's just awful what's going on with this one, and it's so. Because I thought it was fun. It was a fun, easy movie. It's a movie where you got cats swallowing people. I don't know really what else to expect, really. Right, let's see what we've got here. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to jump into some of the questions and just start at the top, really. So Kayla's question was, what was your takeaway from the latest Disney shareholders call? Overall, to me, it felt more along the line of a very steady. They're doing what they need to. They're sorting the business end out. They're doing what Wall Street wants, what investors want. They are making the changes that they need. I think, unfortunately, now the internet just likes negativity, gets a lot more attention than positivity, but also there's a problem with expectations of they're just going to fix it today. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna, somebody new could come in tomorrow and all Disney's problems would be fixed like that. It's like, no, it's gonna take them years to undo the mess that they're in for multiple issues. Again, it's not just one problem. There is multiple problems across not just Disney, but across the industry as a whole. And I think, the superhero fatigue thing is across the industry. Fatigue, I would say franchise fatigue is a little bit. I think Disney got a little bit blasé. I think they were churning out hits and they just thought they could do it. I do think that they had with Disney Plus, they just created too much content and it bored people. I think they just bored people with too much. All the Marvel stuff, all the Star Wars, they just ran it into the ground to the point where people are bored of it. And it's like anything. It's like you can enjoy a fantastic jelly donut, but if you have a jelly donut for lunch, dinner, and breakfast, you're going to get bored of it quite quickly, no matter how much you like donuts. And I think Marvel was in that. It was in that problem. As far as the SAG strike, love it. I love that it's over, or I'm hoping it's going to be over, because there's a little bit of a twist this weekend of a lot of the people reading all the information are maybe not quite as happy with some of the AI protections and stuff. They technically could reject the deal. I don't think they will do. I think it will go through. But they're almost, I don't know if there's almost a kind of feeling with AI or whether or not everyone just wants like the studios just to say, no, you can't use it. And I don't know if that's being realistic, because like how much more wording they have to put in, but it'll be interesting to see if it goes through. I'm sort of like, ooh, bugger. Daniel says, with the Hulu on Disney Plus launching next month, do you think the one app experience will be anything more than just a Hulu section and seeing general content on the homepage? So yeah, this is what I think is going to happen. I think what we're going to see is basically we're going to see Disney Plus, how it works internationally. So this is what it looks like outside of the US. This is so in case anyone looks at it. You have Disney, you have all the banners, and you have the Star Hub, and then you have all the, if you've unlocked everything, it all appears like this, so you can see everything. And I think, personally, I would not be at all surprised if this little button here is just Hulu. And you click on that, and then you're going to get all the content that is available within Disney Plus, because there's not going to be all of it available. I essentially think it's going to be the stuff owned by Disney. So basically, this would be like what you might see. I think you're going to get a very, very similar version. I don't think it's going to be groundbreaking in the slightest. I think they've pushed that back to March because they couldn't say it's a beta or a beta. And I think you're going to get a very, very simple version of this, but just with a different brand. That's my... I could be wrong. I mean, it could be more elaborate than that. It could be, but I don't know. No, that's what I'm thinking. Let's do a quick poll. So let's get... So yeah, I think most people are confused by the beta. Most 70% of you do. Right. So let's do... No, wrong one. Press the wrong button. Right. Do you think the Hulu on Disney Plus is just a Star reskin? Yes. No. There we go. Nick says, with Hulu merging with Disney Plus, do you think they'll add some anime content on Disney Plus, such as classics like Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon, and modern hit things like My Hero Academia? I'll be honest, for this initial beta launch, I think we're going to be I think it's going to be maybe just the stuff that Disney has the full access to. Maybe the things with like, because I thought a lot of that stuff with some of the anime was coming to the end. I think there will be some in there that Disney might have, but I'm not. I think anything that's licensed right now, I think we need to put a little question mark next to it. I wouldn't like to say 50-50 whether or not any of those would come over. Nick says, do you think Disney might launch a fast streaming service similar to Pluto TV by making a fast version of the Disney Channel? No, I don't think so. I think they're going to go all in on Disney Plus, and they're going to push that ad tier of like, if you want to watch this, you pay us a little bit and then you get the ads. I don't think they're going to go towards Tubi or Pluto or anything like that. I think they're all going to end up I think Pluto is going to end up probably eventually. I wouldn't be at all surprised if that gets picked up, because there's a lot of stuff going on with Paramount. But I think they're just going to look at it and go, no, we want you to pay us a little bit of money to watch the stuff, and then you get the ads. That's their new way of doing it. And I've seen people like throwing around the idea of, well, what do we get? Like, we used to pay for cable and have channels with ads, so there was no difference there. Daniel said, starting December, will you be reporting the monthly releases in the US? Will you be included the Hulu content on the list, or will it remain a separate list? Right. So I am right. So I will still be doing a Hulu list, and I will be doing the Disney Plus list as we know it. Until we start getting confirmation of how this is going to work, I don't really want to be putting in things in there which I'm not 100% sure of, because I think the trouble is, especially with some of the Hulu content right now, is that going into Disney Plus? Is that not going into Disney Plus? So in some ways, I need either official confirmation of what's going in, or it's in some ways better to. I need to see how it works before starting telling. I don't want to be telling people that, I don't know, show XYZ is coming into Disney Plus on the Friday and it doesn't. There's going to be a little bit of hit and miss, but I want to make sure it's correct rather than incorrect. What I will be then, the overall plan will be for the monthly list on the US. I will probably have a Disney Plus list, and then there'll be underneath, then there'll be like a Hulu section for each day, and I'll be probably breaking it up like that, because that's kind of how it's going to end up. I think that's because eventually it's all going to be merging in anyway. But I will be separating it like Disney Plus, Hulu, so we know what's coming in. Because I don't think everything from Hulu that's going on each month will be going on to Disney Plus. I'm not entirely convinced, but we're going to have to wait and see. There's a little bit of so there will be some changes, but in some ways it might just look a little bit more like what it looks like for Canada and the UK kind of thing. Gavin says, speaking of the Hulu on Disney Plus, do you think they will rebrand Star, which I still think is just awful to Hulu, as it would make sense for them to consolidate as much as possible? I think they will eventually do this. I don't think they're going to do it straight away. I don't think I think there's a problem of, if they were to change Star to Hulu for us on the same day as the American launch, as extra confusion that we don't need. I would have been more inclined that they would say maybe in when the full merge has gone through, or maybe in a couple of months' time, they just rebrand Star to Hulu, because I think advertising wise, it would be much easier on them to sort of say Hulu on Disney Plus. I think that'll be an easier way for them to just say stuff for a while. And so I could see them going down that line. I would be very surprised if they did it for the December launch. Maybe in the March launch, might be more inclined. And it also depends if they sell Star India or Disney Star. That might speed up the branding, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if the Star brand was redone to Hulu, on Disney Plus internationally, just to simplify things a little bit more, so that you know what it is and stuff. I think that might be a thing. Connor says, what are your thoughts on the Inside Out 2 trailer? I'm really looking forward to it. I think it looks good. I think it looks really good. Okay, let's jump back into the live chat. The 1976 says, happy Diwali to those celebrating. So yeah, if you're celebrating that one, good. The Knoxway said, just got back from seeing the Marvels. It was okay. Yeah, it's okay. I think the trouble is, we're at a point now with movies and stuff where, and it's just in general, everything has to be either a 10 out of 10 or it's the worst thing of all time. There's no nuance. There's no 7 or an 8 or a 9, or 7 or an 8 could be good. And I think that's one of the issues on that one. Kelly says, I remember when Chapek announced ESPN Plus would be accessible on Hulu. It was initially called ESPN Plus on Hulu before they quickly pivoted to the Disney bundle. Yeah, they've used FX on Hulu. They've done ESPN Plus on Hulu. I think they are going to use that, because that's what literally Bob Iger did say in one of what he said. He literally said, we expect Hulu on Disney Plus will result in increased engagement, greater advertising opportunities, lower churn, and reduced customer acquisition costs, thereby increasing our overall margins. So I think, again, that's what I think we're going to be seeing, is Hulu on Disney Plus will become the standard. Let's see what we've got here. Barbatronic says, I'm confused about the Disney Comcast deal. Will Disney have full ownership by Hulu on the 1st? Yes. So it'll have full operational control. It will be own it on the 1st of December. They will pay them a check and that will be the end of it. But they will have to wait until the full, how they've worked it out of who owes what money, and they will then sort that out at a later date, which will happen in 2024. Matt says, I think the full getting merger will happen in 2025. Yeah. I think 2025 might be about right. Kelly says, speaking of Disney Plus, it was glitchy lately when I was watching the Loki finale. Hopefully they do a patch update before they integrate it. That's odd. I mean, hopefully it was just a one-off and they have updated stuff. I mean, by rights, what they should really be doing is, they want to start rolling in some stuff before it. So Cena says, do you think they'll have longer episode descriptions on Disney Plus like they did on Hulu if they're moving all the content to Disney Plus? I think they'll just have the episode descriptions as it is. I don't know if they'll necessarily worry too much. I'll be honest, they're probably more likely just a lot of the shows that are going to be coming over are already in the Disney Plus system. So that's a thing to kind of think about here, because let's say, for example, like, we've got Disney Plus here in the U. So if I click on, for example, Criminal Minds, I don't know if that would be on in actually, I won't do that one because I don't think that will be in the US. Let's take Solar Opposites. So you have the descriptions here. So it's already in the Disney Plus system. So in case really, it's probably just a case of unlocking it for the US. So that's probably going to be how it's already kind of built in there. Knoxway says, will Disney remove the Hulu app once it's got fully merged? I think if they do the full merger, which could be, again, a year or two away, I think they will eventually get rid of the Hulu app as it is. That is unless they keep the Hulu live TV thing going for a while. Kelly says, I believe the Marvels will become like Scott Pilgrim will wear it or appreciate over time. No worries. Knoxwave says, the news about the Hulu Disney Plus was kind of confusing to me also. I just assume only a few other projects will be added for the moment. Yeah, so they have confirmed that. We do know that the shows that they have at least said that will be coming in. So Bob Iger said you're going to have Only Murders in the Building, The Bear, Abbott Elementary, Family Guy, 911. So those will, again, I think what we should expect is ABC and like the Hulu original, some of the Hulu originals. Now, I don't know necessarily if Disney might go all in with like the FX content as well. Are they going to want to put on Welcome to Chippendales and Pam and Tommy, or are they going to hold off that till March? Are they going to do like softly, just kind of get people used to it and start adding things in as they go along? I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Ricardo says, I was just thinking, are there any chances Disney drops the Disney Plus app and makes Hulu the worldwide app? Nope, no chance to. Disney know that the Disney brand is what is big. They have spent billions of dollars making Disney Plus everywhere else in the world. Hulu is meaningless to the rest of the world, so we don't need it. Rebranding it and spending all that money changing it to Hulu to turn it into and you got to remember, it's a brand that they never even created. They've inherited this brand, and it doesn't mean anything. It's the same. Hulu has it just doesn't mean anything internationally. And also, you can tell really how Disney feel with it, because it's called Hulu on Disney Plus. It's not Disney Plus on Hulu. It's they're not doing it that way around. I know in America, there's a lot of kind of people going, well, they should just put Disney Plus into Hulu. It's like, yeah, they are the company. It's a bit like when Warner Brothers Discovery, when they merged, Discovery made sure they put their name in the title because it's like that's still them. Gary says, I'm not watching the Marvels till next Tuesday, so I'll expect no spoilers. Good luck. I'm hoping you can stay clear from it. Gary says, is it true that Deadpool 3 will be the only MCU movie coming out next year? Yes, that looks to be the case. But it's okay. You'll have Madame Web, Kraven the Hunter, and Venom 3 to watch as well. Kelly says, the one thing that really caught my attention regarding the visit in India was when he said he wants to reduce their presence but not excess. My guess is Disney will retain a minority stake in Star India. There's that, or maybe they keep Disney Plus Hotstar, and I don't know if they just get rid of the linear channels and just turn Hotstar into Disney Plus. Maybe that's a way of doing it. I don't know. The fact that they were separating out Disney Plus Hotstar in the how they were presenting this data and stuff was very telling of the fact that they're kind of distancing themselves. Even the sports section, Star is being kind of separated out. Noxo says, hopefully Deadpool 3 will earn the most at the box office next year. I think that's got a good chance because I think there was that desire that people want to go see it. And it's got Wolverine in. I think I think it will be all right. Knoxwell says, now that the writers and actors strikes ends, I hope Disney needs to slow down the production and not to rush films and TV shows at the same time. Yeah, I think we're going to see a drastic reduction. I mean, if you think about it, they've already moved a lot of movies off of next year's slate. And I think they're going to spread the ones they've got out, and we're going to have less shows. I think we're going to see less shows across all the linear channels, across all of it, because when they condense it all, they don't need as much. You're going to really see that difference in the US when you do start seeing, like, on Disney Plus every week, when you start seeing shows like, say like next summer, when you got things like Abbott Elementary and Grey's Anatomy and American Horror Story and FX shows all dropping in, you are so much less reliant on the fact of needing like Marvel and Star Wars to kind of prop that up. Elias says only 50% plus one for ratification, so fingers crossed. I'm hoping so. I think they will do. I think there's a weird thing with, like, I don't know if there's a group of some actors that are they're like, well, it's still got some AI in there. There was going to be some AI in there. There's going to be some use of it. It's like a tool, it's like saying, can't use your mobile phone. But I think there's going to be a lot, as Caleb just points out here. We have hope that legislation from Congress can have AI protection where it protects everyone. He did sign an executive order, but it's limited in scope. Well, I remember another president doing lots of executive orders. I don't think they ever really came to anything. I don't really know what they do, actually. But I think the trouble is, I think this stuff with AI is we're in a really weird thing right now where it's kind of really blown up. It's really blown up, and it might just fizzle out a bit, or it might just become part of our daily routine that we get used to it. There is certain stuff of AI which we use, which we probably don't even realize we're doing, and that's, and we kind of used to it. I do think, like, with scanning faces and bringing them back for like movies in the future and stuff is really creepy, and also just not good for, it doesn't make any sense. But I think there is going to be an issue there. I mean, it's like using AI. They might use AI to fill out a virtual set or something like that, and then they tweak it afterwards. And it's going to be weird how all this comes together. Kelly says, I do hope they eventually make the Hulu hub where the subsections to declutter. I'm hoping that we do get a reorganization of that hub. So you go into Hulu, and then you've got more hubs and stuff underneath to kind of, like, it almost feels like its own separate section. Chris says, I was wondering if the payment plan can be made the same with Hulu and Disney Plus, and do you think Hulu subs will increase or decrease when this happens? So I do think we've seen it happen with Max and also with Discovery, where when they merged them, they did lose some subscribers. They did, that's going to happen because there's going to be some people that are on Hulu that are on Disney Plus, and there is going to be some muddling of it all. I think as long as, like, the thing is, like, the payment plan, I think it's going to be a bit awkward for them to sort it out. It's going to be a bit of a mess, which is why Disney need to get that information out. Kelly said, I voted yes, and the fact that the beta test is what it would be like, but a proper launch will be more refined and polished when it's decluttered. I think we're going to get, like, the what we were supposed to get in March, and I think you're going to get like I said, like a star reskin. That's my guts telling me that we're just, because it works. That's the key thing as well. It's like, it's not like it's like, you might be looking and go, yeah, it's a bit scratched for special for, it doesn't bring any of your data over or anything like that. It won't remember where you've been watching. But what this could do is, it just, like, it's a fully operational version. Disney, it works. They know it works. They've seen it work. Kelly says, speaking of fast, ABC News announced that the ABC News special was now available live on Pluto. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Right, let's keep going on with some other questions here. Daniel says, what date in December do you think the beta will start? Maybe the 8th or the second or the third. I would imagine the second week of December. I mean, they could go. I think the first might be. I mean, they could go all in on the first. That would definitely be a good day, I think, to do it, because they're gonna need a little bit of time to fix any issues with the tech. I mean, it should have gone through demos and stuff, but I would, with the holidays and stuff. Elliot, now that we know that Disney Plus and Hulu merge might happen, has Disney released anything on how the campaign? Yeah, they've not released anything. All we know so far is what Bob Iger said. Gavin says, is the new Hulu on Disney Plus going to be an updated version of the current app or a brand new app? Again, they've not revealed it. I suspect it's just going to be the current app, and it might need an update to do it. You're probably just going to need to have an update come in and have that come in. And we probably do that update beforehand, but just not turn it on. It's not going to be a brand new app, because that would need to then go through like all different kind of authorization for all the different app stores. You're then going to have complication of people like, what app do you use? How do you use it? They're going to want to keep things simple. So just update the current app with a new version. I mean, launching a new separate app would just be a nightmare for logistics, and just trying to get people to download the right app and trying to get people I don't think that would work. It's just unnecessarily complication as well. Tim says, the whole movie has been released on Stan last Sunday, and it's also on Disney Plus. Is Disney licensing out some movies to other streaming platforms? Probably. This is happening in every other country. This happens here in the UK. It happens in like Australia and stuff, and in America. Especially licensing out 20th Century Studios content. They've got no problem with doing that. Julian says, how much Hulu content will Disney Plus add, or will Disney add into Disney Plus? So no numbers or anything yet. Again, I would suspect that everything that is ABC, FX, 20th Century, that stuff's probably, I would go with 99% chance that it's going to come in. Anything that is licensed, the question mark. Gavin says, will the Hulu on Disney Plus beta be launching shortly? Do you think this will be streamlined, the releases for global releases? I do hope that when the US gets things sorted, that it might speed up the global releases of things, because less complications, less going into the system all at the same time. I am hopeful that will be a thing. As far as I suspect we will be finding out in the next week or two. I think they need to get on it. I think they need to get on this quick and get that information out there to stop all the miscommunication. Babak says, do you think the Marvel is back on track after releasing the Marvels and reworking their previous projects? I wouldn't necessarily say they're back on track yet. I think we're going to have a bit of a bumpy. I think with the box office of the Marvels is going to be embarrassing for them. Echo is going to either be really good or it's going to be a meddling. The good thing that they have got, and that is time, because what they're going to do basically for 2024 is they are basically going to be giving us time off. X-Men 97 doesn't really count, so that doesn't kick into it. But so you're going to have Echo in January, Deadpool 3 in July, and probably then Agatha in like November. They're giving us some time to have a break, and I think that is the key thing, is they let us have some time between it. I think that is the core thing that they need to do is, and if they slow down the shows, that will all help with it, and I think that's a key thing. I think that's going to be definitely a big thing. Kenny says, when Disney Plus and Hulu merge into one app, what are some of the changes you think will happen? I think we're going to see hopefully a better algorithm, a better way of showing us what to watch, more profiles, maybe some stuff from Family Guy, and throw some things in there, put some things in. That'll be fun. Some characters maybe from like Modern Family or some of that. Give us some more choices, some more collections, some more. Just give us a fully fledged out Disney Plus globally, because then the US is in line with us. You're catching up with how we've had it for years. I think that's a very good thing. So those are my expectations. Dana says, do you think we'll get information on the integration this week or before the US Thanksgiving? I'm hoping this week. I would hope that they have been looking at that the the amount of stuff coming out over the last couple of days and realizing that they need to clarify some information, and they need to get, if they're launching in December, it is the 13th tomorrow, and then we got the holidays and stuff. They need to get this. They definitely do that. Tim says, will there be another season of Welcome to Wrexham? I thought I saw something on Rob McElhaney's X account that they're filming season 3. Yes, so they are. I actually had this confirmed. I did an interview a few months ago with the composer of Welcome to Wrexham, and he did confirm that they are doing a 3rd season. He's got the finale dropping on next week. Mahmoud says, Disney has mentioned that they would like to they need to renegotiate their licensing deal for third-party content. How long will Disney finish negotiations, and will it be before or after the full launch? So I think this definitely gives them a few months scope. I don't know. I on one hand, do they want to pay out for stuff? I think this is going to be their real way of maybe clearing out some of the content from deals that they don't want to have to spend money on for shows that aren't working. This is their prime opportunity to let some of the content just drop off. I think we are going to see a removal of the NBC content at some point, and we'll be a part of it. I think that'll all get stripped out of there. I wouldn't be at all surprised if some of like the Crunchyroll stuff starts coming out, or the last few dribs and drabs from like Warner Brothers. There's still some A&E stuff, but there's a better chance of that staying because obviously Disney still own half of it. Let's jump back into live. We've got, as I said, there's a lot of questions today. Ricardo says, on their own quarterly results, Warner Brothers implied that they are willing to acquire a company in the next 1 or 2 years, and how many people have theories it could be Paramount? Your thoughts? I did see this. There was also an article on CNBC about Paramount. Paramount looks to like it is in that zone of someone is going to soak this one up. Apparently, it's only valued at about 8-9 billion, which happens to be just about the same amount of money that Comcast are just about to get. So that could pay off there. I think Comcast, I think one of them is going to snap up Paramount, or Paramount is going to get stripped for parts. The problem with Comcast buying Paramount is they would have, I don't think they can have more than the one network channel. But if Warner Brothers did it, they don't have one, so that could work. I think they also put out the fact that if the company was nearly going bankrupt, that they can get this thing through. I think Paramount, if it makes 2024 in the current climate, I think Paramount Studios will continue, but I think Paramount Plus is on endangered list of it's either going to get swallowed up with Peacock or it'll get swallowed up with Max at some point in the future, because they're going to want scale, and I think everyone is realizing that is with that one. Ricardo, I doubt Warner Brothers is in a position to acquire. They have been like paying off a lot of debts because they've not been making anything. Matt says, how many moons are coming out next year from Disney? How many movies? Not as many as before. I think there's maybe only a dozen at the minute on the books. There's not a lot. Matt says, how many movies are coming out next year? Oh, yeah, we did that one. So Suna says, how many shows will be on Disney Plus next year when the merge happens? I think you're probably looking. The trouble is with the numbers right now on Hulu is when you look to see what their numbers are, it's drastically inflated because they've got all of Max on there and Stars and Showtime. So therefore, that's all counting as shows and films that are showing up in the library. So you can't kind of go, well, here's all the stuff from Hulu that's all going to work in there. I would generally say, you look at the library of what we've got in like the UK or Canada, those are kind of your lines of what's going to be on there. It's the same thing. It annoys me with Amazon, where Amazon's like, we've got all these shows. You're like, yeah, but you have to buy them. It's not really included in your Prime membership. Barbara Trolling says, is ESPN Plus going to be on Disney Plus? I think it's going to be because I just said, where was it? Let me just get this up. We are very bullish about the future of our streaming business. Imagine the opportunities a combined Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN streaming experience can offer us as a company and consumer. I think it is going to happen. I think ESPN, either ESPN Plus or this new direct-to-consumer, will be a part of Disney Plus in the future. But I wonder if they're just going to focus on getting Hulu in there first off. But yeah, ESPN will be available through Disney Plus. That'll be how it'll work. Gary says anime on Disney Plus in Hong Kong is pretty underwhelming. Yeah, there's not a lot here in the UK, to be honest. Let's have a quick look. Let's have a quick look, see what we've got. So if I go into search, let's go. So this is pretty much the anime. So like I say, you've probably got like a dozen shows. That's probably all we've got right now. There's not a huge amount on there. I'm just going to have a look. I know there was an anime collection. Let's go in here. And where was it? I think it's in the genres. I'm sure there was an anime collection. There it is. This is the anime collection. So this is the Disney Plus anime collection. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if these are the ones that are going to end up going into Disney Plus in the US. There might be some more, but those were the ones I would imagine will be much more highly likely to go in to begin with. Bubba trolling. If ESPN does become accessible on Disney Plus, it's definitely going to be a paid add-on, since there are two types of Disney Plus subscribers: those that watch sports. Yeah, it's definitely going to be add-on, because if they added in sport, you'd be looking at another $15 to $20 a month. They are going all in on wanting you to pay. Even Max is going to be making you pay for sports. I think they're all going to be doing it because it just costs too much. Susina says, when the merger happens in March 2024, how many shows will be on there? We do not know yet. I'm sorry, we do not know. Matt says, what movies on Disney Plus from Hulu? Again, I would predict that anything from 20th Century, Touchstone, those will be probably in there. Anything that's on Disney Plus internationally, much higher chance. Anything that's not on there, probably maybe not going to be on there straight away. Stelian says EU has regulations on AI coming soon, and they're really strict. I think we're going to see a big cut down on basic. I think some of it might be like, if you use AI, you might need to actually state it, maybe like in an article, or you have to put it in the or in like a video or anything like that. Because I mean, this is the thing with AI. Like, say for example, like I use an AI tool for the shorts that I create for our channel and for social media. So I manually edit my YouTube video, and I then post it in different places. But so I give the whole video to AI, and it then trims it out, and then I will go through and I can then edit the words and edit bits and pieces out. So it's using AI to basically edit it, move it around, but I have to go in and tweak it because it's not always right. There's been a few mistakes here and there that I've picked up, and just by using the tool. So the simple thing is I'm using AI, and I know a lot of it's like, but I'm using AI on something that I have created, and I'm in full charge of what I'm putting out, and it's taking what I've made and it's speeded up the process. I can make shorts much easier, and it's why we're now getting this longer YouTube video every day, because I was trying to make shorter videos for other social media platforms, and this seems to be working with this way. But again, I'm using an AI tool to help me with that, and I think it works pretty well. Delian says, if they have more hubs on Disney Plus Hulu Hub, they should also do the same style. Yeah, I would imagine we're going to end up with some sort of parity between the two. Ricardo says, I'm starting to think that Marvel is restructuring Phase 5 and 6. Deadpool could be the end of Phase 5. Captain Blade and Thunderbolts could be changed to Phase 6. I don't think the phases really matter. I don't think that's really going to make too much of it. Thunderbolts is supposed to be like the big like group together, like Avengers type movie. I think what they're going to do, I do wonder if they're going to speed up the multiverse situation and try and get that resolved much faster with less shows and less movies. I do think that might be something that they do. They might try and just get this done and dusted, because I don't think audiences like multiverses. I never really liked it. Matt says, what will happen to Star Plus in India? We don't really know yet. I mean, they could end up keeping Disney Plus Hotstar and selling some linear. They might sell the whole lot. Either way, Disney Disney content would still be available somewhere. They just license it, but it's still very much in the early stages. Babak says, I wonder if history and watch lists will also become part of the Disney Plus into December beta. I know they were working on trying to bring stuff over from Hulu over onto Disney Plus. I don't think that's going to happen because I think that is the part of the beta that's not working yet. And I think that will come in March. Kelly says, one thing that's confused me with what I said, there's more of a focus on the core brands, but a slowdown of Marvel and Star Wars content. Does that mean more Mickey Mouse? I want that. I think they're very much focused when they talk about brands and franchises and stuff. I think they're more interested in maybe their own brands, their own franchises, building on them. Maybe, I mean, I'm looking forward to Doctor Who, but I don't think had that deal come in front of Iger today, I don't think he'd sign it because I don't think he would want all the theme parks and the route. I don't think he would sign that deal now. There, I don't know even know. I mean, would he have gone? I mean, the Disney Junior is a little bit tricky, but I do wonder if he would have signed that stuff now. Ricardo says, I think the potential for Hulu and 20th Century Studios and FX hubs on Disney Plus could coexist, having a contrast between original and legacy. I mean, I think having hubs for those three makes sense. You're going to need a Hulu hub because you're going to have a load of generic stuff and random stuff. 20th Century Studios, to me, needs to be a hub, and so does FX. So Sina says, I wonder if they'll put on shows they don't own. They might if they got the license to it. Probably anything they've made or licensed recently probably will do. Matt says, will there be enough new content coming out next year? There is going to be a lot less. There's going to be a lot less on every platform, and not just Disney. The strikes will have an impact on how much stuff is coming out. We are going to see less. But the counter argument is they have been making too much, not just Disney, across all of them. They've all been making too much, spending too much, and not enough of us are watching, and we're all being given too much choice. And unfortunately, the viewership is suffering because of it. It's like anything. If you're making 20 pies, and you might have some that are really popular and some that aren't, and some that are left over. But if you put out just 5 pies, but you make more, you can make more off those pies and stuff. So it's kind of, that's the way I look at them. They're all looking at pies. Aaliyah says, Warner Bros. Discovery no longer has the CW. No, they sold that. When they sold that to Nexstar. Ricardo says, there is a theory that the Pixar tab can merge in with Disney tab on Disney Plus and probably turn it into collection. The Disney 100 Blu-ray box includes Disney animation. I don't think so. I think the Pixar will stay as it is. I think that will stay as it is. Matt says, do you think Disney Plus will sell National Geographic? I hope not. I did do a video on that yesterday. I hope not. I hope they do keep it. I think there is a good... I also think there's a 90% chance that Disney won't buy National Geographic. They're having original content with a brand and it seems to be much bigger than their Disney Nature show. And haven't fully... I mean, I'd get rid of Disney Nature. I hate that brand. I hate those movies. That they're awful. Knox Wave, no worries. See you later. Thanks for coming in. Thank you for that, and thank you for your support. Leah says that is correct. Nexstar owns CW as a major stakeholder. I remember many were confused with the CW announced NXT moving there next year, and that it's a Nexstar brand. Yeah, it was a bit of a funny one with that one. The SAG leadership might convince the voters that AI regulations will help the cost of teas and. I think the trouble is as well with social media is there's this things can whip up and get all like blurted out of shape. And I know that there's going to be people reacting to it and stuff, and the votes are going to come in. And there's also maybe some actors and stuff that maybe don't do as much work as some else that maybe they're okay, that are much more likely to push back. It's a very tricky line. And if they reject it, it's going to cause chaos. It will cause absolute chaos. Matt says some international shows could come to Disney Plus and Moon. Yeah, well, I would imagine like all the Korean and like British stuff would be much more inclined to be moved over to Disney Plus because again, it's already in the system. It's already there. Right. Ricardo says, I also think they want to end the map mode. I think it's just not working with audiences. Right, let's jump back into some of the questions. Mama says, has Disney mentioned when they would need to renegotiate the titles? Yeah, we don't know yet that. Babek says, do you think it is worth it for Disney to wait until the very end to buy out Hulu? Could they have saved money if they did sooner? I'd probably think it's the opposite way around. I think they might end up saving money by waiting until the end of the deal, because I think Comcast was essentially holding them to ransom of like, yeah, no, Hulu's worth, we're not going to sell it to you, and we think it's worth $90 million. And Disney go, no, it's more like 30. And they go, no, we want 90. So you give us 40, give us 35, 40 billion. And Disney are like, no. And so I think there's been that thing of Comcast wanted way more. And I think the valuations of Hulu and stuff are all over the shop right now. There's a real kind of gist of like, you kind of read like different people and stuff as well. Yes, some analysts seem to just gone back to the idea, everyone, they should just sell everything to Netflix and that will fix the problem. Well, it doesn't fix the problem long term. It's not good for us as consumers. Maman says, do you think the marketing for the one app experience will happen before the beta launch in December, or before they're going to have to start getting the word out? They're going to have to start advertising it. They're going to have to start letting audiences know that this is going to happen. They need it desperately. You don't want someone going into Disney Plus in 3 weeks' time or in 2 weeks' time and suddenly being presented with, do you want Hulu? Yes. Bang. And suddenly then it's all in there. Disney have said that they want to give parents time to come in, and maybe they do a slow rollout and drop stuff in weekly or monthly. I mean, it kind of makes sense to start with a big chunk of it, and then they can start adding in things maybe weekly afterwards. That might be a way of spreading out the content. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Dana says, it's more of an observation than a question, but do you think Aya didn't elaborate on the Hulu and why he didn't? You've got to remember as well, he's only got a limited amount of time. So he's got doing the Q&A and all the rest of it. So people are asking him questions and stuff. Again, they'll have plans for what they're going to do. He did speak about it quite a bit. I do think he fudged it in terms of how he's trying to say it. This constant thing of the one app experience in their head. The trouble is sometimes with anything like this is, and we all do it, we know what we're talking about, but we're not conveying that to maybe the best way to everybody else. And I think this concept of the one app experience, it makes perfect sense. And saying, but the minute you put in one app experience with beta, and people have got confused into thinking it's something new and something different. And I think that's a big issue. Keenan says, were you surprised that the Disney Plus subscribers went up? No, not when they're offering it for $2. No, it was a really good deal, and I think that really helped get people into Disney Plus. And it's going to be really good. Right now, you can get Disney Plus here in the UK for £4.99 with ads. That is very appealing. It's a very good price. So Suna says, do you think Hulu will add content that they own, like Full House, Community, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, or Family Matters? I think it's 50-50. My gut would say no. I think my gut says no on that at the minute. Babak says, do you think Disney needs A&E? Could they sell off the rest of the estate? I would think that would make more sense myself. But I suppose it depends how much money they make from it. We don't really see the numbers. We did that one for Matt. C-Tan says, DSNY Newcast reported in the video that will Disney pay for Hulu? That Disney will sell most of, if not all, of Hotstar, Star India. Even left with a minority stake, will Disney keep the Star branding, and will Hotstar keep the Disney Plus brand? Well, I think the Hotstar situation, it could go either way. It could go Disney Plus, Hotstar just becomes Disney Plus, and it's the same as it is for the rest of the world, and they're going to see a drastic reduction in the amount of Indian content, and a load of stuff gets removed, and they just take the hit and know that it's going to hit, or they just sell that into somebody else and they just make some money from licensing. That could be a way of doing it. But I do think the Star brand is going to disappear. I think that's my gut. And I'm back in the room. Right. Okay. Don't know what happened then. Suddenly disappeared. This has not been a good one for Right. Okay. Let's go jump back in. Let's carry on. It's just, this has been some good mistakes there. I don't know how that happened. Where were we? So what will be the difference between the beta launch and the full launch? So I think what was going to happen there is, again, there's going to be a lot less functionality. It's going to be a bit more bare bones. That's why I think it's just going to be a reskin of the Star Hub, because that way it gets them around it and then they can add in some stuff later. Tim says, will the Moana series come out on time in 2024, or would Disney delay it to 2025 when the live action movie comes out? I think the live action movie is going to get bumped back. Maybe, I personally wouldn't even do it. No chance. I think Tiana's coming out, or Moana's coming out next year. We have heard nothing about this, really. We've not seen anything. I think this one is way down the track, if at all. What shows? I don't think we're really in that position to know. So Suna says, do you think Modern Family will come to Disney Plus in the full launch? Because it's still on the deal with Hulu and Peacock until January 24, and the same thing for Nugo. That is a very good thing, with the fact that there being a deal in place, but they might be able to get around that because it's Hulu. You still need a Hulu subscription. It's going to be tricky, but then they might have put that in the contract that they can do that. Keenan says, will Disney's 100th anniversary celebrations end at the D23 Expo next year? I wouldn't be at all surprised. I would be surprised if they do something else. Right, let's go now into the live chat. Let's see where we were. So if you've got any more questions, feel free to put them in. Chris says, some shows from Hulu are already on Disney Plus, like Blackish, The Wonder Years Home. How was that decided? Not sure. I think some of it has been some experiments. I think they've been experimenting with some shows to see what works, see what things are watching. What Marvel show will get a season 2? I'm really hoping Miss Marvel gets a season 2. I think it could do with that one. I think that would be a good idea. I would love to see a Moon Knight season 2. I wouldn't mind a She-Hulk season 2, but I think that might be too expensive, and I don't think they're going to do it. I could maybe see them do a series, maybe like a Young Avengers or something like that. Maybe might be a way of doing it. Ricardo says, I also think Marvel could end the multi-saga quickly. That may be the reason they haven't postponed Kang Dynasty or Secret Wars yet, although the first one will have more chances to change dates. I think the key thing for this really is, I think it's Jonathan Major's court case. That will be the decision of where they go next, I think. So Suna says, will they put licensed? Yeah, we did that one. Stillian, personally, I think less content is better overall. The more in that way, the strikes to the good thing with less content coming out. I think we are going to see a lot less coming out. I think there's definitely going to be a thing of that happening. There's going to be less. I think a more curated list of content is good. There's no point in denying the fact that Disney Plus, especially in those first year or two, there was a lot of stuff hitting the platform that was not that, it wasn't great. It wasn't amazing. Disney wasn't able to, they got the Hulu stuff was taking all the good stuff for adults, and we were ending up with stuff like Turner and Hooch, and it just wasn't. I don't think that's going to work in the 21st century. I don't think audience will put up with that stuff the same way. Julian says, will the live action Holly Hobie series come into Disney Plus? That's from Hulu. I would imagine anything now like that is more likely going to be shared between the two. Elias says, yeah, the studios will refuse to bother with negotiations until January at the earliest. Acting talent is back at work, probably realizing how much they miss it. Fingers crossed. I think there's going to be those that are working are probably going to be like, oh no, we're fine, carry on. And maybe actors that maybe aren't working, maybe like we want better. I think there's a line here of like what they can do with it all. And I think being out of work for 3-4 months, and the idea that if they reject it, that it could be gone for, I don't know. I think the majority of people are going to go for yes. They just want to get back to work. Caleb, I do hope that Hollywood considers making films that they have a budget of 28 to 38 million and telling a solid story. I know of two Shah Khan films and those budgets, and it clicked with everyone. I think the big problem to me is Disney, especially, and all the big studios, I think, have got very, very happy using special effects and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think the trouble is everyone wants to go see an event movie and it has to get bigger and bigger. Now, I watched Transformers Rise of the Beast. We rented that this afternoon. Oh, it was bordering on just being an animated movie, because I love the Transformers movies, but this one was just meh. I'll watch it again when it's at Rise on TV. But it's like, I do think that they've been spending way too much on, they can do it. And sometimes, like, making decisions of, like, say, for example, like superheroes costumes, constantly doing tweaks with CGI and fixing stuff with VFX rather than just doing it in person, just having a good suit, rather than, and constantly having to do extra stuff to it. I think they've kind of got, and while it was a hit and while they were making money, they could get away with it. The problem is now that, like, Marvel and Star Wars and all these big movies, the budgets they're too big, and maybe they need to just trim back on how much they do, and audiences are going to have to be essentially detrained to that. I think we're going to see some more simpler movies. I mean, like some of them expenses that they've been spending on these films, the budgets are just out of control compared to how much they're making. And let's take Disney out of it right now. If you look at the box office on a whole, it is still massively down on before the pandemic. All the Mission Impossible movies didn't do well. Yeah, Oppenheimer did really well, but this is the thing. I haven't seen the movie. I do want to watch it. Would Oppenheimer, would that have made $900 million had it not come out on the same day as Barbie? I think had that come out a week either side, probably would have been lucky if it done $200 to $300 million. And that's my honest thing. I think it might be a really good movie, but I think if it was released on any other day, it never would have reached the heights that it did. So Suna says, do you think Modern Family will be on Disney Plus next month in the beta or in the full, because the Hulu deal is till January? Because of what you've just said there, I'm wondering if they might add it in January. I think they might wait. They might hold off a little bit. Matt says, do you think Disney Plus will add sports? You're going to get an ESPN ad in the US, maybe in Latin America. They might do something. I don't think here in Europe. I don't think that's going to happen. Not what I've been speaking to people. Doesn't look like that's on the cards here in the UK or anything like that anytime soon. But in the US, I suspect ESPN Plus will get added in there. Ricardo says, even though I get Disney would like to license some of the library to Netflix, it's still limitative. I think that there's Fox legacy content considering the latest big brand. Yeah. I mean, generally, Iger has said that he will license out some of the 20th Century Studio stuff. I think they're just looking at some of the movies and stuff and going, is that critical to Disney Plus? They've been licensing stuff out here in the UK and in Australia and across Europe and stuff. And it makes sense in some ways. Like, let's say, for example, Dopesick. I know that one's got recently, I think it was in the Netherlands or in Italy, it's been licensed out to another. Or in here in the UK, we had Love Victor, was the BBC picked it up. If it's non-exclusive and they get a bit of extra cash from it, is it really going to make much difference? I don't know if it would do. I don't think it would do. Ricardo says, Criminal Minds is now being added to Paramount Plus on Latin America and other countries, meaning that they've made an agreement with Paramount to share the streaming rights globally, not just the US. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense from maybe, they're working on a new season, so it makes sense that maybe they've done it. And maybe also Disney are getting money from it from Paramount. Stillian says, do you think that Hulu is fully integrated into Disney Plus? They will retire Star brand globally. I think it will do. We're looking forward to next year with Disney Plus. I'm just really looking forward to this whole Hulu saga being over with. That's the key one. I'm looking forward to American audiences having the full suite of Disney in one app inside of Disney Plus. You know, we've had Star for over 2 years, and it's an incredible addition to Disney Plus. It offers a lot of extra value, a lot of extra content, and I think it's going to have a big impact on how people view what Disney are making. I think that's going to be a big thing of like they start realizing that Disney is more than just Marvel and Star Wars and animated films. And I think that's the key thing when you start seeing it. There is going to be a little bit of a reaction to it. You know, when people see American Horror Story next to Bluey on the front page. But I think audiences in the US, most of them are going to understand it. It's just the fact that it's a sticker shock because Disney has this branding that they've protected for so long, but it doesn't work in the same way in 2020s. You know, the concept that Disney is just for kids went out a long time ago. They just were a lot better at hiding it years ago. But now with global Disney Plus, as it is, if it didn't have the Hulu content, is just a niche product. It's not big enough to go up against Netflix or anything else. And there's a reason why. Have you noticed why Disney Plus subscribers internationally continue to keep growing, whereas in the US they weren't? There's a key thing there. Ricardo says, I think Disney will indeed sell the Hotstar brand in India, but they'll still have the Disney Plus app function there with no mention of Star in it. I think that's probably what's going to happen too. Bubba Trolling says, do you think that Warner Brothers Discovery will become independent from Discovery in a few years? No, I think they're in there. It's either going to get swallowed up or they'll swallow somebody else up. Aaliyah says, I think with Kang, it's Loki's ratings, feedback from the focus group surveys and Major's court thus far. Ratings aren't superb. Even if he's innocent, they might still go away from Kang. I just don't know why they just recast him. So Cena says, what shows do you think they're licensed to that they don't own? Anything that's successful and watched will be more likely to get picked up. If nobody's watching it, they're not going to license it. I think that's the key thing. Thinking positive. They only need 50% plus one. Matt says, we'll get some more collections when they add Hulu. I think you'll probably just end up with the same ones that we've got. Kayla says, Pathian was an event film due to SKR's first film after 5 years, while J1 relied on positive word of mouth. The CGI both solid for them, but my guess is India uses practical effects too. I think Hollywood got a little bit funny with that one. Matt says, are they going to add more collection? I suspect they will do. Matt can't wait for Doctor Who. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And will they license Community? I don't know. I don't know on an individual one. Right. Okay. So on that note, a little bit of some technical issues today between me dropping the camera. That's the first time I've ever done that one ever. The mic at the beginning, so it was a really good one. A big thank you to everyone in. A lot of it. Hopefully, we get lots of information on this coming up this week. Again, big thank you to everyone. And I did that vote earlier today. I asked you, do you think the Hulu on Disney Plus is just a star reskin? 90% of you think it is. 90 votes, and 90% of you think that it's a reskin. So it's pretty much, I think, how this is going to work. So on that note, I'll be back next week with another live Q&A. Right through the week, we'll have new news videos going up. If there's any major big news, we'll also do some extra stuff. But again, big thank you. Again, if you can, go check us out over at whatsondisneyplus.com. Find us on Twitter or Facebook. Join our Facebook group. So you get to see our stuff. That's the key thing. Bookmark it, favorite, just there. Join the mailing list. That's another good option as well. Subscribe, become a member. More importantly, that's a great thing here. So if you become a member, you obviously can take part in this each and every week, and you can send in your questions. And on that note, guys, thank you very much, and I shall see you guys soon. Laters.